What is up, NASCAR racing fans? We're here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Stock All-Star race today. The winner of this race gets 50 bonus points, second 25 points, and third 10 bonus points. Plus the builder of the winning car gets the 57 Chevy we showed you in the All-Star Open video. We had a tie in the fan votes. They're going to go 1v1 in a best of 3. Coffee Tart for Cut Rock Creek Racing and regular Isaac for Puffs Racing. We're going to kick things off with a parade lap by our Grand Marshal. Carl Recco in the Nissan Sentra Gasser got 11th place in the Great Canadian Snow Gasm. On the 905 Diecast channel, first time an HSL car made it past the second round in a Redline Derby event. So that's pretty cool. Check that channel out. It's a lot of fun. Alongside the other channels on our track barrier, one of whom, Chase Family Racing, has an entry in today's All-Star race with Endcount. You'll be seeing him later, but first, the best of 3 race-off between Coffee Tart and Isaac. And for the first lap, Coffee Tart gets a full track segment lead before they even head into the fat track portion. Coffee Tart looking as smooth as butter heading out of turn number 2. Looks like she might go sailing, but keeps it on all fours. Leads that by over 2 track segments. And the rest of the field that's already in has to be wishing for double DNFs right now. Because y'all probably think I talk about Coffee Tart like Tony Romo talks about Pat Mahomes. But I'm just stating a fact here. Isaac's car is fast. He's got 2 teammates in the top 10 in points. Isaac's teammate got a win earlier with an identical casting, but Coffee Tart leads that second lap, sweeps it in 2 races. And it's not even close. And now we're moving on to the first segment set by points. We got William, Tristan Racewelski, and Morgan Shepherd. They got into it at Sonoma a bit, as well as Tristan's teammate Rusty Wallace in the number 2 car. After that incident on the last lap of their segment in the last race at Sonoma, Morgan Shepherd's had a bone to pick with Tristan and Richie for Puffs Racing. All 3 of them are really close in the points right now. As they head into the turns, Tristan and William are fighting each other for first place. William gets the advantage on the inside. Tristan turns him around, but William stays on the track, manages to lead that lap by a half a centimeter. Rusty Wallace gets pushed off, seemingly as a precautionary measure against retaliation by Morgan Shepherd. Cautions out for the first El Recco of the day. Rusty Wallace's day is over, just short of the finish line. Now for lap number 2, William gets a better jump off the start gate than he did on the first lap, as the cars behind him seem more and more concerned with each other than they are with beating him. Heading into the fat track portion, Williams got a 2+ car length lead going into turns number 1 and number 2. Morgan Shepherd tries to push his way in on the inside. Tristan's fighting back tooth and nail. They are side by side. And it looks like Morgan Shepherd got it by less than a bumper length. Now it's time for lap number 3. Williams been dominant. Morgan Shepherd in second place. See if he can challenge his fellow Ford Thunderbird for the lead. But now that the gates are down, they're more spread out than ever before. Tristan Racewelski lost some momentum, or did he? Tristan gets underneath Morgan Shepherd for second place. They catch up to William. It's less than a car length between the 3. William by a bumper length over Tristan. Here you see in the replay how close they really get. Tristan almost catches up, passes him, but William holds him off by just enough. We're past the halfway point in this segment, and it is anybody's race. The gates are down, and William gets another great start. 2 car length lead over Tristan and Morgan Shepherd. Heading into turn number 1, and cautions out for an El Recco. Tristan Racewelski just bodies Morgan Shepherd, tosses him into the grass infield. Tristan avenges his teammate from earlier, and as long as he finishes these last couple laps, he's locked into the main event. I'm sure he wants Richie. Sure, all 3 of those drivers were blaming each other for the crash. They were all racing for the lead at Sonoma on the final lap of their segment. And there you can see that green car in the grass. That's part of the track crew, the Nitro Series track crew, going over to recover Morgan Shepherd's car. The junkyard will be back for the points-paying races. And now it's time for lap number 5. The gates are down. William and Tristan, as long as they can finish these laps, are going to be in the main event. William takes a 2 car length lead heading into turn number 2. Tristan's not making up any ground and still 2 car lengths heading onto the backstretch. William leads that lap. Now the gates are down for lap number 6. They're side by side on the split portion of the track. William gets a car length lead, expands it to 2 car lengths heading into the turns. Tristan catches up this time. William slams the door shut. Now it's time for the final lap. Smooth driving by these guys in the last 3 laps. Their spots in the finale are settled. They're playing it safe right here. William and Tristan Racewelski cross the finish line in first and second. They'll be heading on to the main event. And now it's time for segment number 2. On the front row is Johnson Jr. and Richie. Behind them, Jimbo Rockford and Clyde, who won the All-Star Open. The gates are down. It's a really tight pack heading into the fat track portion. Going into turn number 1, they are still side by side. We got our first El Reco of the segment. Jimbo Rockford bins it mired in the back of the pack. Richie takes the lead. He gets hit by Clyde, and Johnson Jr. with the finishing blow, preemptively protecting his teammate, locking himself into the main event. 1 lap in, we have 2 cars out already. We're going to show you that last sequence of events in slow motion. Richie comes out of the turns with the lead. First gets a shove by Clyde, so he gets loose, gets beached on the guardrail, and Johnson Jr. side drafts him and finishes him off. What a violent first lap. This segment is over in all but name. Now we got 6 laps of 1v1 racing. The gates are down for lap number 2. Johnson Jr. gets half a car length lead on the split portion of the track. Clyde is catching up, and they're side by side heading into turn number 1. Clyde with the inside lane advantage gets past Johnson Jr., and now he's pulling away heading to the finish line. Clyde leads that lap. Gates are down for lap number 3. They're side by side. Does Johnson Jr. have anything for Clyde? All they're racing for is a slightly better starting spot in the main event. They're both locked in. Clyde gets the inside advantage again. That car is very hard to pass on the outside. It weighs more than some of the mods, and he is capable of squeezing anybody out. That's how he won the All-Star Open, and that's how he's dominated this segment thus far. Bumper length lead heading into the turn. Reverse side draft in the middle of the turns. Heads to the finish line with a 2+ car length lead. Now we're past the halfway point in the segment. They're playing it safe again. I don't think Sir Isaac Newton's going to be changing his laws anytime soon. Johnson Jr. is going to need a miracle to get past Clyde at this rate. Now that one was actually a little bit closer. Johnson Jr. was right on his tail. Let's see if he has anything for him on this lap. And Clyde actually gets about a half car length lead in the split track portion this time. It's not looking good for Johnson Jr. Yep, Clyde takes it by 2 car lengths. Now it's time for the final lap. Johnson Jr. actually gets his nose ahead in the split track portion. Let's see if he can hold on here. Clyde gets ahead. Once again, as they get to turns 1 and 2, Clyde gets a little bit loose this time. Johnson Jr. is right on his tail, but Clyde slams the door shut. He'll get the better starting spot in the main event. And now it's time for our final segment. On the front row. On the front row, we have Skeeter Davis and Baby Richie. Behind them, Endcount for Chase Family Racing and Coffee Tart. Endcount, of course, has his team's sticker on our retaining wall, Chase Family Racing. And as they pass that retaining wall, it's a really tight race. Only 2 car lengths between first and last place. Spreads out a bit coming out of turn number 3. Skeeter Davis runs away with that first lap. Endcount throws a block at the end there to keep Coffee Tart and Baby Richie at bay. And they've got the advantage heading into lap number 2. Skeeter Davis and Endcount are neck and neck all throughout the split portion of the track. Still no clear advantage heading into the turns, while Coffee Tart remains glued to Skeeter Davis's bumper. Gives Skeeter Davis a bit of a bump draft to pass Endcount and start lap number 3 on the front row. This is where Coffee Tart wants to be. Gates are down for the 3rd lap, and it looks like the outside lane actually has the advantage in the split portion. But look at Skeeter Davis come roaring back as soon as they hit the fat track. He tries to body slam Coffee Tart into the outside wall like everyone's had success doing. It doesn't work. We got our first DNF of the segment. Looks like Endcount cut a tire or something. Inexplicably slows down. Baby Richie has nowhere to go. Skeeter Davis barely escapes that mess. Ends up in 2nd place heading into lap number 4. The gates are down. Skeeter Davis and Coffee Tart are still neck and neck heading towards the bottom of the split track. Skeeter's got his pedal to the floor. He's not letting up. He's actually ahead of Coffee Tart heading into turn number 1. But as everyone else has, Coffee Tart drives up the track, slams Skeeter up into the outside retaining wall, and takes a 3 car length lead to the finish line. Now it's time for lap number 5. Skeeter Davis gets a much better start here. Almost a full car length lead heading into the fat track. Coffee Tart catches up again before they hit the turns. Meanwhile, Baby Richie in the background playing it safe, hoping one of the 2 drivers up front would make a mistake. Heading into lap number 6, just 2 laps to go. His time is running out. The gates are down, and Coffee Tart and Skeeter Davis are giving it everything they got again. They would both be locked in if it ended right now, but Skeeter Davis, he wants to prevent Coffee Tart from getting that clean air. Gets his nose under Coffee Tart's rear bumper, but isn't able to move her until after the finish line. And now we have the final lap of segment racing. Now's the absolute worst time to be aggressive and make a mistake. But Skeeter and Coffee Tart are side by side again, heading into the turn. And Skeeter Davis is trying anything he can to get around Coffee Tart, playing with fire right here. He still crosses the line, and he'll be going on to the main event. And now here's the car draws for the first 3 starting positions. Coffee Tart draws the pole next to her. William, behind them, Clyde in 3rd place. They'll have to work hard for that strong drafting tandem because they'll be diagonal from each other on the track. Starting behind Coffee Tart is Skeeter Davis. Behind them in the third row, Tristan Racewelski and Johnson Jr. Not what Johnson Jr. was looking for after the segment he had. But when you have this much talent in one segment on the track, anybody could win from anywhere. Let's get this started with lap number 1. The gates are down and Williams off to a blazing start, almost a full car length lead over Coffee Tart. Tries to cut underneath him heading into the turns, but shifts into high gear a little too early and overshoots it. That opens the door for Skeeter Davis, Clyde, and Johnson Jr. to take spots 1, 2, and 3 after starting near the back. We're going to send out the blimp to look for Tristan. I don't think he even made it into the turns. Looks like he saw what was happening in front of him. He slammed on the brakes. Right over there is William and Coffee Tart. They're still on their wheels, but they'll have to start in the back. Let's tell the blimp to move a little faster. Where did Tristan go? And he's on his roof. Didn't even make it out of the split portion of the track. The first El Reco of the season. Looks like Coffee Tart and William got stuck in the start gate too. They're both hobbling down the track. Looks like they got a little too aggressive with the clutch pedal after going from the front row to the back. And look at Skeeter Davis playing with fire. He looked mighty squirrely coming out of the turns there, but he crossed the line before anything bad could happen. Clyde in second and Johnson Jr. in third again. And let's take a look and see where Coffee Tart ended up. Hopefully she's not on her roof. Any day now, and yep, she's there on her wheels. Lucky it wasn't the last lap. It's not a mechanical DNF, although it will be if it happens again. This time they come out of the gate smoothly. Looks like the inside lane has the advantage over the McDonald's twins. Their draft does not work. Johnson Jr. finally showing some speed, moves up to second place. Doesn't look like anybody has anything for Skeeter Davis, though. And if you notice, we moved the barrier for the main event to the other side of the track, and that's because more cars were DNFing heading out of the turn than they were heading into it, because we got rid of the Funnel Chute after the open. And what do you know, Skeeter Davis gets a car length lead in the turn again. And now look at William and Coffee Tart challenging for second place again after they were dead in the water. Looks like William got it there by less than a bumper length. Now it's time for lap number 5. Skeeter Davis got a great start for this one. He's got a 2-car length lead before they even leave the split track. Coffee Tart catches up to him before they get into the turns, but Skeeter Davis slams the door shut once again, just like John Gerard, making the car 2 lanes wide but not losing any speed. Now with 2 laps to go, it's been a 2-way battle between Jimbo Rockford and Coffee Tart. Can one of these McDonald's twins play spoiler? Jimbo Rockford hooks it to the left going up the turn but recovers. Clyde uses that momentum on the inside lane to move from 5th to 3rd for the final lap. But to get the upset win after winning the All-Star Open, he'll have to go through Coffee Tart and Skeeter Davis and his own identical twin, who just so happens to be the series points leader. They head into the fat track, spread out further than I had seen this race. Coffee Tart tries to throw a block heading into the turns, punts it to Skeeter Davis at the last second to preserve that 25 points. Clyde gets further than anybody else out of that mess. He'll get the 10 points for 3rd place. Williams on his roof. Johnson Jr. is just there. Congratulations to Po' Boy. You win the 57 Chevy and the 50 bonus points for Skeeter Davis. That should put him past Johnson Jr. for 2nd place in the standings. Coffee Tart, congratulations to Mark D and Uncle Elvis for getting bonus points on the podium here too. To beat the best, you got to be the best. Or I think I said that backwards. It doesn't matter. They beat the 2 guys that are in the top 2 in points as the fan vote and All-Star Open winners. What a great round of racing other than that second segment there. Here's the updated points. Skeeter Davis does pass Johnson Jr. for 2nd in points. Coffee Tart doesn't quite break into the top 10 yet. And Clyde's 10 bonus points won't move him up any spots right now, but it is still really nice to have, especially after missing the last race at Sonoma. Got to salvage something out of it by winning the All-Star Open, and that actually doesn't affect where anyone went in the point standings at all after this. And as we go through the rest of the point standings, it turns out Skeeter Davis's victory was the only difference any of this made. Here we have 21 through 34. We're starting to get into the field fillers here. They weren't part of the All-Star weekend, and that's part of the reason why they beat the best. Those guys aren't any part of it. I might do an all-star race for them next year. Hopefully won't even need field fillers next year. Some of the new mail-ins are on the list here. They're not going to stay in the 30s and 40s in points for very long, though. All those cars looked really good. Even the ones that crashed early did well in qualifying for the last race. Here we go to the last section of the points. Haley Deegan is still in last place, but that probably will change. That car's actually kind of fast. Probably Greg Biffle or Kevin Harvick's going to end up with it. And just a reminder, if you want to see your cars in the second half of the season, mail them out to HSL Diecast, P.O. Box 7, Wingate, PA, 18091. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the track.